I started my Forever World 3 weeks ago, and it's been... And welcome to my Forever World. We have a lot to get done in this episode. Look at this project board. It's something. I just threw it together with some blocks that I had in my chest. It's not the greatest build, but it's here and it serves its purpose to tell us what we need to do. Now, are we gonna get all of this done in this episode? Maybe, but we'll have to see. I think I definitely want to prioritize. We do definitely want to build the harbor, which is the main purpose of this episode. I want to finish up this terrain here. I also really want to get a happy ghast in this episode because the sooner we can get one of those, the sooner we can go get our villagers from wherever they happen to be. And I think you can attach a boat to them and carry animals and mobs around that way. Never mind the villagers for right now though, because I already know what I'm going to do first. And that is, we're going to do a little bit more terraining around my base with a bunch of blocks I collected in the last episode. I started by bone mealing some moss around the perimeter of my cliffs to give it a little bit more texture. There's definitely no science to it, it's just random placement at this point. I made this small wheat field which I hope to expand. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet, but we'll see once it's grown. I threw in another cliff face here, repeating the same process. And last, but certainly not least, I made my very first friend on this world. I need to name him, but I might leave that up to you guys. Comment down below what you think. Alright, that's some more terraining out of the way. I'm pretty satisfied with how it is right now, even though it could use some more polishing around the edges. As you guys can see, I've already gone ahead and set up our little temporary workstation here. Of course, as always, following the trends of my last two videos, this is our most ambitious project yet. And I've gone ahead and made a little outline just to help with the design process for what the harbor is going to look like. And you know what? I think just to give you guys a little bit better idea of how this build is going to turn out, I'm going to use all the resources I do currently have and at least get it started. So without further ado, let's get a good night rest and we will start work in the morning. Or, oh, alright, please? I don't, there we go. Alright, that's enough rest for me. Let's get started. Alright, well that's about all I want to get done before I go ahead and gather the rest of the blocks for this build. I actually think I forgot to record half of me building that, so I'm sorry if the time lapse is a little bit lame. But don't worry, this is barely just the base of this thing. You'll get to see the great finished product very, very soon. Alright, I've gone ahead and set up a little tree farm behind my house just so I can start collecting the wood necessary for the rest of the harbor. And on the note of automating resources, I'm going to go ahead and automate my wool collection system. I'm sorry guys, but you're going to have even less room than you do now when I am done with you. I've already got the materials to go ahead and do that. I'm going to put it together really, really quick. There you go. Alright, I finished my little miniature sheep farm over here. I'm totally sure there's a more efficient way to do it, but this is super simple and it's probably all I need right now. Now I have to figure out what to do with you guys. Do I let you go or do I... Alright, that's taken care of. Let's tear this fence down now. Also, another super small thing, I use my Silk Touch pickaxe to collect a full bee nest, which hopefully we'll be able to use eventually to make a honey farm when I need that. It also looks like most of my trees are grown, so I'm going to go ahead and take care of this really quick. Alright, the next thing I think I want to do is go into the nether and see if we can find a happy ghast. I haven't actually been in the nether since we killed the dragon, so I think it's time we go in there and gather the resources that we may need in the future. Alright, this is the biome we need. It's not far from where I was at all, so nothing here. You know, I'm going to go ahead and harvest some of these as well, just because you can always use bone meal. Oh my goodness. Look at this. I found one right here. He's just floating in the sky. That's so weird. Let's catch that feller. And we've got ourselves a dried ghast. That was far easier than I thought it was gonna be. Alright, that's already enough of the nether for me. I am going home with what I have and calling it a day. I know for the happy ghasts, you need snowballs to herd them, and I think to make them grow up. So I'm gonna go ahead and gather a little bit of snow here. There we go. Alright, let's place him right here. Get him some water. There we go. Nice. And he is on the way. Alright, and now we just play the waiting game. Alright, I looked it up and we are looking at a 20-minute timer here. So I've already been here for maybe 10 minutes. So I'm just going to wait it out until he's ready. And then we're going to have ourselves a happy... No! Oh man, I hope that didn't reset the progress. Let's get you back in there. I'm so sorry. Whoa! Alright, he's here. This is him. Oh, look at him. He's actually so sweet. Alright, let's give him some snowballs. Try and get this guy to grow up. Alright, I've got some more snow... Oh! Wow, okay, I didn't even need to grab any more snowballs. He is fully grown. Wow, he's actually huge. Let's throw that harness on there. Maybe take him off this lead. Let me see if I can get on. Oh, I need the snowball to mount. Whoa! Okay, this is so cool. Look at this. You stand on top of them and I think they're completely complacent while you're standing on them. Like, they don't move at all. Alright, I'm going to take him over down to where we are building so he can be there by the time we are ready to build our harbor, and we will use his help a bunch. This may take a minute. Alright, this is actually much faster. Oop, not if I'm falling into the water though. Hey, let's throw you right here and we have you whenever we need you. Alright, nice. We have our happy Ghast. I'm super stoked about that. Well guys, I am just about finished finalizing all the resources we need to finally put this harbor together, and we get to use our happy Ghast and see how helpful he really is. So, without further ado, let's get to work. And just like that, we have a great start to the harbor. There's definitely a lot more that we have to get done today. Fill up some of the dead space, add a few more buildings, and make these buildings actually serve a function. I know I want to have an iron farm, sugarcane, bamboo farm, stuff like that. And let me tell you guys, the building process was made so much easier by this happy Ghast. Unfortunately, when I was looking over the time lapse, this guy wanted a lot of screen time because he was just whizzing around the camera. And of course, it just looked ridiculous. But it's okay. You can have your screen time because of how helpful you've been. Alright, I'm super happy with the amount of progress we made on the harbor for right now. I think it's about time we go out and get some villagers so we can finally set up an iron farm and hopefully in the future a trading hall as well. I'm going to go ahead and pick up my happy Ghast here. I have some boats with me and some leads for actually getting the villagers from their village to my home. Alright, well, we're moving at the dreadful pace of maybe 2-3 blocks a second, so this definitely is going to take a long time. Well, the drive wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Wow. We have been riding in this treacherous storm the whole time, and in the time it took for one night to pass, we are here. Alright, there's one villager here. The more the merrier, honestly. Alright, I'm having a little trouble here hooking this guy up. There we go. Okay, so shift click is the answer. Let's see. Alright, this journey went a lot smoother than I actually thought it was going to. We have him hooked up here. Now we just gotta make the journey back. And just like that, we are back at base. It actually didn't take quite as long as I thought it was going to, so I'm really happy about that. It was like maybe a 30-minute round trip, and we are here. What are you doing? Get out of here. You're not having any of my villagers. Okay, well, our iron farm is a little bit active. Come on, how do I get these guys off? Well, maybe if we just leave them here, we have our iron farm ready. I mean, it's obviously working. Not gonna lie, sometimes these happy Ghasts are kind of a pain. Kind of really a pain. But it's okay. I'm not going to get frustrated. I'm going to throw this guy in here. Let's go ahead and get our other one. No. Back in. All right, well, we have these guys somewhere safe. Maybe I'm going to go ahead and place a few extra torches down here just to make sure that nothing can spawn. Now what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go in my creative world and try and design an aesthetic looking iron farm so I can build it around here and it doesn't stick out too much. My main goal is I want to be able to hide all the components of my farm and have them look like just nice buildings on the outside. As of right now, I don't have a plan of where it's going to go or what it's going to look like. So I'm going to get to work on the design process, and I will see you guys when I have a plan. Well, I'd say that looks like a pretty good plan, or at least a pretty good ghost of a plan, because it doesn't actually exist. However, in between the design process, I was pretty diligent about farming all the resources I need to get this thing built. However, as with most projects, we always need more resources. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time finalizing the materials list, and we will be ready to build very soon. I also went ahead and started crafting all the blocks we'll need for the minor details in our harbor. This build uses a lot of blocks that we haven't actually gotten around to getting in this world, one of which is mud. So I found a simple enough design online and went ahead and built myself an automatic mud farm. The design ended up being super simple and super effective, which I'm happy about. Mud, mud, digging mud, so much mud. Wandering traders are actually kind of slept on because these guys, just by coming to my house, have been able to give me pale oak logs and now mangrove propagules, which saves me a ton of time and travel. I was not trying to find a pale oak forest just to build a few pale oak logs on this house over here. So sir, thank you very much for your service, and of course, always buying that gunpowder, because we do not have a gunpowder farm yet. Now, with the newest iteration of the super epic, hyper efficient mobile workshop, willsavvy is ready to conquer this land with sprawling, awe-inspiring infrastructure. The beginning of a grand civilization where prosperity is forged by faith. This is Ironheart's Harbor. Well, would you look at that view? Alright, let me walk you guys through this build and the thought processes behind making everything. One thing that's really important to me throughout this entire world is I really want to have these picture frames, essentially setting up my builds to be viewed from a certain angle where I think it looks best. This is a small example here where I built this archway that on its own is, yeah, a nice build, but it also helps to really frame the rest of the harbor here. And you're looking directly down the center of this, and it really just sells the idea that this whole place was put together by a thoughtful mind, which it was, my own. On this side of the harbor, there's a lot of storage containers and decorations. I've never worked on a harbor before, so I don't really know what it's supposed to look like, but I think this is a decent idea. You have this diagonal house, and I made sure to add a lot of different areas where I could stay if I wanted to. I mean, there's storage here, there's a bed here. I want to be able to live in my entire world. I don't want to just build things to build them. I want them to serve a function. I'm super pleased with this bridge. We've got those two dark oak strips that go all the way across, and I got this really gradual incline that I'm really proud of. The roof as well was quite a pain to design, but I really like how it angles up on all four sides and kind of meets in the middle. It's kind of this interesting design. It's pretty difficult to create, but I think it turned out really well. Over here is where a lot of the function of the harbor is stored. I'm seeing a lot more farms popping up here in the future, but at the moment we have this wonderful iron farm that's been working really well. It's not 100% my design. The base of the structure I actually found online, a super simple tutorial that helped me create this iron farm, but it was also really important to me that I added a lot of my own flair with the overhangs here and that little side tower that's jutting out that I think turned out really cool. The farm itself is actually super efficient. This is just a few hours after constructing it, and I haven't even been in this area the whole time. I think it's around 300-400 iron per hour, so it's not bad at all. It's definitely enough for what I need right now. Over here, I decided to kind of replicate the style of this build to add a little forge area. I wanted everything to feel pretty connected, so you have this bridge that goes across into this room. This building itself doesn't actually serve much of a function besides looking nice, I suppose. There's also more. Oh, I actually never decorated this floor, but the top floor I know is decorated. We've got some copper iron here, another bed for me to sleep. Moving on, we have the final building that serves a function, and this is my sugarcane and bamboo farm. But the actual farm is over here, and it goes up into the second floor. This also has been producing really well, and I'm happy with how it turned out. Continuing with the idea of having places to stay, I actually did decorate the third floor of this thing, giving myself one more bedroom to stay at if I want to. Actually forgot some chests there. I really like this one. I think it looks really nice. And man, I love the scaffolding windows. This is the first world where I've ever used this hack, and it just looks amazing. I love it so much. And obviously you can't have a harbor without boats, so I designed 3 different sizes of boats that I scattered along the rivers here. This boat, I really love this design. A lot of these I did see on Pinterest when I was getting my inspiration for this design, but this with the boat in the middle, it works so good. It looks like one continuous thing, and you have the oars. It's just great. It's like a large rowboat. I love it. And then we have this design over here, which I am super proud of. I really thought it would be cool to have a diagonal boat backed into this little cove over here, so that's what I did, and it turned out really well. I'm proud of it. What are you doing? Get out of here. Another small thing, but I'm just always going to love archways in Minecraft. I think they just look so good, and they're just so satisfying to create. Obviously, we have the main house of the harbor. I'm assuming this is where maybe one of the head employees work. I don't know. And then moving on to the final boat design here. This one turned out really good, and don't ask me how this boat fits under that arch. And continuing the idea with natural picture frames, I set one up right here where you get a perfect view of the boat and the bridge and the houses in the background, and it just looks really great. Of course, there's always room for expansion with this build, and I'm super excited to get back to work on it and add even more to it because it's just super fun to design. At this point in the world, it's finally starting to feel like a true reflection of my mind and my ideas, and it's just been super enjoyable, and I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. Well guys, that's another super productive episode in the books. However, I've got big plans for the next episode, and I've got to get to work. So, I will see you guys then.